My goodness, it feels amazing out here. I don't mean to jump the gun, y'all, but Merry Christmas, somebody. This is incredible. What's up, everybody? Rev Sanity here. After taking a 4-year hiatus.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Mainly due to selling my FZ09. Recently bought another bike. Moved back to Florida from California due to work. I miss California every single day. I actually moved back to my hometown. I am from a little town in northwest Florida called Navarre. So yeah, here I am. I'm back. I am making this serious now. I want to see what I can do about doing some creative content, because creativity on this side of the nation is kind of lacking, really. Well, I'll say this side of Florida, because we are literally Alabama's armpit, and it's about as Alabama as you get while still being in Florida. Florida man is definitely here. In fact, if you look at my Instagram page, which y'all can follow, and I'll put a link down here in the description. On my bio, it says decent Florida man. I feel like I'm pretty decent, just trying to be a decent human being. So Rev Sanity, that does not look like an FZ09. I'm so glad you asked, and I'm assuming that was a question. What are you riding now? So the story goes, we get back to Florida, and my wife just out of nowhere was like, hey, I want to go get my motorcycle endorsement. I want to do something different. And the look of shock and surprise on my face was like, wow, really? All right, well, let's go make this happen then, man. Let's see what they have to offer around here. So the closest thing myself, of course, I could find was the Harley dealership here in Fort Walton Beach. And if you're ever on this side of Fort Walton Beach, go check out Emerald Coast Harley it's on Beale Parkway. And I'm telling you, of all the cars that I bought, because I've been buying cars or whatever, it's unbelievable the level of customer service that the Harley dealership has over here. Like, I walked in and it felt like I was part of a family, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that, we're all riding bikes, and I don't know, the Harley group is just different. And not even a good or a bad way, it's just different. I'd probably say mainly good. But you still got the old guys out there that are like, it's Harley or nothing. So got her signed up for the course, and I met this guy, Brian. I had no intentions at all of even considering a Harley ever in my life. My dad had a CVO Road Glide, and I was like, man, that's just an old bike, man. It's just like an old geezer bike. So I started talking to Brian, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm coming from an FZ09, but I haven't ridden in a couple years. So what you looking at riding, man? I'm like, dude, I don't know jack about the Harleys, at all. Nothing whatsoever. I was like, I used to always like the Sportsters, and I always thought that they were kind of cool, just kind of had that, cafe racer look or whatever. So he was like, yeah, man, let's go test ride one then. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, no obligation to buy anything, man. Let's just go get your driver's license and information and everything. So he takes me out, and I'm riding a 1200. I sat on it, and I was like, I don't know. And then we started riding, and I quickly realized that I did not like mid controls, because I'm 6 feet, about 195. I felt like my legs were up here in my chest, dude. And I was like, this is uncomfortable. I feel like I'm a giraffe riding a tricycle or something. Like these long legs, and then I don't know, it just felt really goofy. After we go for the ride, I tell him, I'm like, I don't know if I like mid controls actually. I'm kind of bummed. And then he was like, well, let's try this Roadster, and it had forward controls. And immediately I was like, yes, so much better. AKA I have forwards on this bike. But we're riding, and then I realized it's kind of an uncomfortable ride, to be honest with you. I'm like, it'd be fun, kind of putzing around town and stuff, but I'm like, if I want to go on, 2, 3, 4 hour rides, this is going to be horrible. My tailbone, man, or just my butt in general, and it was not comfortable. And there's a lot of bikes out today. What a beautiful day to ride on a bike. So yeah, we go back, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. Kind of told him what I liked or what I didn't like about it, because the Sportster is still a fun bike. I could throw it around like crazy. So then he shows me a Breakout, and I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, dude, that is a badass looking bike. What is that? And he said, oh, this is a Breakout. I was like, okay, that looks really custom and stuff. And then he was like, yeah, well, it's got ape hangers. It's got a stage 2 on it. And I'm like, of course, I'm totally ignorant on anything Harley. So I'm like, what's the stage 2? He explained the process to me. Stage 1 is where you got your exhaust and your air intake, and then stage 2 is where you're upgrading your cams. Stage 3, you're starting the process of boring your engine out, so you get like some different heads. And then stage 4 is you're basically swapping out the pistons, and I forgot the other one. So I'm like, dude, can I test ride that? He was like, yeah, absolutely, let's go do it. And it only had, it was a 2015, and it had 1,900 miles on it. And I'm like, dude, this thing looks like it's brand new. He's like, because it is brand new, mileage-wise. So we took it out, and my goodness, man, like the way that the exhaust sounded, had the Vansenheims, the short shots, there we go, the short shot staggered. The second I cranked it up, I couldn't stop smiling. But the Sporty didn't have the exhaust on it, and so I was like, it's so quiet. And then once I got on the bike, I was like, my goodness, man, this is a freaking Harley right here. Immediately I was like, yep, I want a part of this. The power band on this is totally different than like a sport bike, right? It's almost like a car, these twin cams. The limiter comes in about 6,200 RPMs, but your power kind of extends to about 5,700 on this one. And I tell you what though, it's crazy that you could feel it. It threw me back without lifting the front wheel on, because the Breakout had has a longer wheelbase. So we get back and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have to talk to the wife and yada yada. Like 3 days later I come back and I buy it. So that's what this is. 2015 Breakout with a stage 2. We've got these nice Carlini 16-inch apes. You know, it's actually not bad. Like my shoulders, like, you know, my hands maybe half a fifth length above my shoulders, so it's not bad at all. Oh, I didn't even think about bringing a mask. I had to run to FedEx because I'm shipping off some Jordans 6s. Check out this ghetto wrap job though. So it's ridiculous. All right, let's see if they'll let me just go in with my helmet. Just like that, no mask needed. Oh yeah, I'll do a review on this bad boy too once I actually get some real riding time in it. I will talk about that another day. I'm not even gonna tell you what it is. It's pretty obvious what it is if you know what kind of bags you've been looking for. Man, I love that sound when it cranks up. So for all the bikes out there, why did you go with a Harley? Yeah, you could have gone for a Triumph. You could have gone for an Indian. I know I could have. Why did I go for a Harley? I went for a Harley because I'm an outlaw, man. Trying to join these motorcycle clubs, bro. Trying to let people know that I'm a rebel. Nah, that's only like 20% of it. Nah, I got the Harley because it honestly, it started with their customer service, right? Like I was blown away. I'm like, dude, I want to be in business with these people. Kind of started doing some researching, and found out, I guess after the Great Depression, it was Harley and Indian were the only 2 American motorcycle companies to make it out of the Depression. I was like, that's pretty cool. And I know some of y'all are like, well, you know, their numbers are sucking right now. Well, I don't care about the numbers. All I care about is the bike. I'm not trying to invest in the company necessarily. I'm not over there trying to make money for them. I just want to ride what I want to ride. Have fun doing it. Honestly, like having that Harley sound is just something I'd never really experienced firsthand before, other than seeing them on the road. And I got to tell you, man, I'm all in. I think I'm gonna have a Harley for a long time. We'll see. There's no bones about it, right? It's a bike with a throttle and some brakes and some headlight. Well, if you go to a road glide, obviously you're going to be, or you know, street glides and stuff, you're going to be getting more of the bells and whistles. And even this has a cruise control right there. It's a makeshift one. You know, you can just sit there and push it, and it'll hold the throttle in position while you're riding. Nothing fancy. And I love these ape hangers too. Well, you should have built your Harley. You shouldn't have bought a built one. I don't care. Well, I mean, I got a great deal on it, so why would I want to spend extra on my first Harley? You know, like I'll use my wife's bike as a project bike. How about that? Problem is, she knows that's true too. But then, but you can't beat that torque either. That torque with that wide open throttle sound, it just sounds like a drag bike. Yeah, the torque was a big one. Heritage played a little bit into it, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't know, I really just wanted to try something different. I really love my FZ09. It's a fantastic bike, plenty of torque. I will say though, when my wife was riding on the back with me, I was like, you know what? I don't really feel comfortable riding with a passenger on something that's a little bit more sporty, because like the back seat kind of was like that. I wanted something that was going to be a little more smooth for both of us to ride on. And she's little, you know, she's only like 110 pounds, like 5'3". So it's not like it was making that much of a difference, but it was enough to having that weight on my back that I wasn't used to. It was uncomfortable for me. So get into a cruiser, and I couldn't even tell she was back there. Got a 60 bar on here and everything too, so she can lean back, so like she's not on me at all. It's like having a Jeep, you know, no bells and whistles to it, you know, unless you're putting on like rear lockers or lockers in general, or you know, anything like that. There's just not much to them. And I think that's kind of why I like it. I like the simplicity of it a little bit. And I love going fast, don't get me wrong. But I love that like initial pull. But I will say, like, it handles completely different. Yeah, like the heavy bikes, you know, obviously I don't have a windscreen on here. And it's a much heavier and a much longer bike. So it was like, you know, a little bit of this right here going on. And with the wind and stuff. But wasn't necessarily the most comforting thing sitting there at 100 miles an hour my first time riding a Harley. It'll get up and go nonetheless. It does straight line speeds very well. Very, very well. Such as American muscle, right? You know, everybody gets the big V8s, the Camaros, the Mustangs, and the Corvettes because they want to say that I went 180 miles an hour. I do miss having that ability to really lean and stuff, but this is a totally different ride too. Like, you can't ride this like a sport bike, you know. You're here riding this as a way to enjoy the ride, which is way more comfortable. Like, I think the longest I've ridden this so far is like maybe 3 hours. Not in one trip, it was like, you know, all around, and never had a hot spot. I do want to get a saddleman seat though. That is one thing that's on my agenda. But yeah, dudes, Harley's where it's at. I'm not even gonna lie. I was surprised when I got roped in. And it was the apes. I never thought that I would enjoy riding with apes. I gotta tell you, like, this really surprised me at how comfortable that was. Such as Florida, man. Like, you'll be in like dead stop traffic, and all of a sudden traffic opens up. I'm telling you, it was that school. It's the worst place in the world to build a school right off of one of the busiest highways in America. This is Highway 98 for those of you who may or may not know. They call it Bloody 98. Pretty dangerous road right here, actually. Anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about. I just like my Harley. Like, this is a 103, so it's not like it's a small engine. That's cubic inches for all the CC guys out there. But the 103 equates to like a 1680 or something like that. But yeah, that's what I'm about, man. I'm in the Harley life. Maybe even a year from now I might get a road glide because I want to go take on some, you know, long trips up to northern Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee, even Colorado. That would be sick. It's a nice little Jeep, like a TJ. No waves. But yeah, this is my revamping of the channel. So if you guys want to see some more content, you know, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Let me know what you want to see. I might do some how-tos. I'm actually going to install some baffles on my wife's bike. Maybe do some how to ride videos, how to ride a Harley when you're coming from a sport bike. Yeah, just drop me a comment. In the description, you'll see a link to my Facebook page. I'm not really active on Facebook though, to be honest. I'm more active on Instagram. And you'll find my Twitter page. Yeah, till the next video, I guess. You guys be decent. Peace.